Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at a really fascinating personality analysis report today. And our mission is basically to figure out how combining ruthless analytical rigor with deep emotional empathy can completely redefine leadership.
Yeah, and we are looking at Dr. Amol for this, right? He heads up intellectual property services at Airbus India.
Right, Airbus. But here's the crazy part. Imagine trying to map out the legal strategy for, like, commercial aerospace patents, but using the exact same math you'd use to track water flowing through a pipe.
I mean, it sounds completely absurd when you put it that way.
It really does. But we are looking at a career that somehow jumps from high-stakes pharma litigation to, grassroots farming inventions and then straight into commercial aerospace engineering.
Yeah, and doing all that without getting intellectual whiplash.
Exactly. So how does someone actually navigate that?
Well, the through line really only makes sense when you look at his academic roots, because he actually has a PhD in chemical engineering.
Oh, right. Specializing in hydrodynamics, right? Like complex flow processes.
Exactly. So he isn't actually shifting gears between pharma and aerospace. He is looking at the foundational principles of how things flow in literally any system.
Wait, so modeling fluid dynamics to manage patents? I mean, that sounds like a massive leap. You are basically talking about treating human capital and legal constraints like a giant plumbing system.
Yeah, kind of like, just mapping the pipes to find the leaks and blockages. What's fascinating here is the cognitive plasticity involved.
Right, because in fluid dynamics, you calculate friction factors to see exactly where flow velocity drops.
Exactly, and he does the exact same thing with the IP lifecycle. He literally maps the flow of an idea, from an engineer's brain all the way to the final legal filing.
Oh, wow. So if the data shows a 60% drop-off in patent submissions at the legal review stage, well, that is his hydrodynamic bottleneck.
You got it. So whether he is protecting a single microscopic pharmaceutical molecule or, the systemic IP of an Airbus A350, he just uses the same predictive modeling to keep the system flowing.
Okay, but hold on, because there is a twist. He publicly calls himself the empathetic analyst, and he applies Six Sigma methodologies to these IP departments, which is wild to me.
It is, because Six Sigma is literally designed to eliminate variance and crush deviations.
Right. But innovation is entirely about variance. You would think applying cold statistical math to early-stage engineering ideas would just crush creativity.
Exactly, rather than enable it.
So instead of the IT department being the innovation police, he is turning them into an enabler. How does that actually work in practice?
Well, it would crush creativity if he were applying the math to the ideas themselves. But he doesn't. He applies it to the administrative bureaucracy.
Oh, I see. So he uses that rigorous math to streamline the IP life cycle, so brilliant inventors don't have to navigate endless red tape.
You got it. He realizes that a flawed corporate process isn't just financially inefficient. It is a systemic, demoralizing blocker to human creativity.
Right. So by removing that administrative burden, he basically creates psychological safety, giving engineers the space to share those vulnerable early-stage ideas.
Exactly. So optimizing the bureaucratic process is actually his mechanism for empathy, which is a really cool way to look at it.
It really is. And that completely contextualizes the bimodal approach in his career, too. I mean, he spent 11 years managing billion-dollar portfolios for GE.
Right, but then he applied that exact same friction-reducing philosophy to grassroots initiatives, like his work with SRE Steve.
Yeah, evaluating a grassroots inventor's rural sugarcane juicer or a multi-purpose wheelchair.
Exactly. Because his entire philosophy is about removing friction from human creativity, he doesn't limit his systemic thinking to corporate walls.
Right. He values an idea based on immediate human impact. He champions what he calls a trust ecosystem.
Yeah, with a very specific mantra.
Right.
Replacing I with we transforms illness into wellness.
Wow. In the IP industry, a field literally built on individual named patents and hoarding corporate secrets, that is a profoundly subversive structural shift.
It really is, moving from individual hoarding to collective problem solving. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, you see why true leadership isn't confined to a single industry.
Right, because that subversive shift from I to we is highly scalable.
Exactly. It's the reason why, despite holding a super demanding aerospace executive role, he co-led a G20 and B20 task force, drafting a white paper on cancer detection and cure techniques.
Wait, applying an aerospace IP framework to global oncology policy.
Yeah, it's wild. It proves that bridging the gap between cold, hard data and vulnerable human trust isn't just a corporate buzzword.
It is the ultimate catalyst for innovation on a planetary scale, because the systems governing human trust and the systems governing fluid dynamics share the same fundamental rules of flow and friction.
Precisely. It is all about finding where the flow stops and removing that friction.
Wow. So we will leave you with this to mull over today. If you treated the daily flow of ideas in your own life or workplace like a hydrodynamic plumbing system, where are the emotional blockages slowing down your personal innovation?